It's better to learn about people's reactions first, then adjust yourself according to situations. I used the same method on Hirata that I once used on Horikita, Karuizawa, and Ichino's to help people who have been traumatized. I shattered their hearts first, only to then guide them to rebuild themselves stronger than before. I broke Horikita on the deserted island, finally making her realize she needs a friend. Now that they know my true nature and have successfully healed, all four of them have developed full 100% trust in me. In Hirata's particular case, I've observed him since his decline began. I was with him when Kenji subtly attacked him. In a way, I was there for him. Hirata acts the part of the ideal leader. He's supportive, approachable, yet firm when needed. This earns him trust, a powerful currency at this school. But everyone has cracks, and Hirata is no exception. In preparation for the special exam, Class C brainstormed various strategies. However, none seemed to have the decisive edge. While I evaluated Horikita's proposed plan, Hirata, still influenced by the results of the class poll, showed no willingness to cooperate with the class. The first wave of pressure is inevitable. Sudu's volatility, the others' laziness, they'll wear on Hirata's meticulously cultivated patience. Yet he can't express this frustration openly. His image depends on an unwavering persona of kindness. This creates internal dissonance, a simmering potion waiting to boil over. And that's where I come in. Not as a savior, but as an alternative. Approaching him privately, I'll offer not solutions, but pointed observations. Hirata, this group seems challenging. A neutral statement, but it acknowledges his struggle without directly criticizing. He might brush it off, but the seed is planted, especially if I follow it with something seemingly unrelated. I sometimes wish everyone could show their true selves without fear of judgment. Wouldn't that be easier? This plays on his own suppressed frustrations, hinting at a false sense of freedom I potentially offer. It doesn't need to be an overt lie, simply implying that I operate by different rules than the rest of our peers. I noticed that he doesn't have a twisted personality like Kushida. He felt regret after a friend from middle school attempted suicide due to bullying. When the bullies switched targets to another student, seemingly without remorse, Hirata snapped and beat them violently. That's why he was placed in Class D, despite his ability. He's a good person. A little naive, idealistic, but a good person nonetheless. At least for now. Can't be certain after what happened to Ichinos. The most brutal way is oftentimes the most effective, and it worked perfectly. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. I'm actually glad Koenji stepped in and told Hirata that his childish behavior was getting out of hand. Hirata's backstory makes everything make a lot more sense. No wonder he was so sensitive and wanted the whole class to stick together. This makes the theory that everyone originally picked for Class D has something wrong with them even more plausible. This whole episode gives a lot more insight into his character, but his actions, both here and in the past, were really inexcusable. His breaking point will be the catalyst. It might be a failed exam, internal conflict in the group, or even something seemingly unrelated that finally tips the scales. That's when I re-enter the picture, not with solutions, but calculated empathy. The timing is crucial. He must be desperate, the potion of self-doubt bubbling over. Most would try to console him with shoulder-patting platitudes about strength and perseverance. I will do the opposite. Everyone in this school uses people for various reasons. I do not force people to do something they do not want to. I, myself, have been taught this way. But unlike them, I was never granted help. Therefore, I stopped crying, knowing that no one would come to save me, which naturally results in my inability to feel despair. It's logical they'd speculate. My behavior is contradictory. I offer assistance, yet I've explicitly stated I view people as tools. Perhaps a part of me sees the potential benefits of something resembling care. Loyalty is a powerful motivator, more reliable than simple transactions. It's more efficient in the long run. Do I allow them true choice? That's debatable. It's a matter of presentation. Humans respond well to the illusion of agency. I understand their goals, their weaknesses. With the right nudges, they tend to make the decisions I deem beneficial for them, and ultimately, for myself. Is this friendship? I lack sufficient data to make that determination. My upbringing lacked the usual parameters for forming such bonds. Perhaps this is how I'm programmed to interpret connection, to achieve objectives disguised as favors. You may see instances where I help people seemingly without particular contextual use. But one needs to think long-term, like when I instinctively saved Suzune from her brother, even though I didn't know much about her. It's a common misconception that I lack emotions. I feel them. Irritation, a flicker of curiosity, even a faint sense of satisfaction at times. The difference is, they're irrelevant to my calculations. They hold no sway over my choices. My upbringing ensured that. To view emotions as anything but a potential liability would be illogical. They cloud judgment, impede efficiency. Yet, you're partially correct. If I were truly without feeling, I wouldn't be able to dissect my classmates, analyzing their weaknesses, predicting their behavior. That requires a degree of understanding, even if it resembles the way I might study the mechanics of a lockpick rather than forming a true bond. I know all about fear born through pain. I know the terror and misery of being a loser. I've seen people destroyed by it time and time again. But eventually, I stopped feeling fear. Instead, I just felt cold, because I'd realized that no matter how much suffering or despair others experienced, the same would never happen to me.